So hello everyone, Grocery here, welcome back. Today we've got another episode of the Unhuntables podcast series with Christopher.
Hello.
Hello, we are looking through 5p coins today, looking for any NIFCs that might turn up, and territories, and anything else that isn't really supposed to be in the coin bag, which you never know. And we're going to be talking about some coin related goodness throughout the video as well. Did I say I'm joined by Christopher?
You did, yes.
Oh, good. I was going to say, I thought I just rambled on. I
was so surprised because I'd obviously I'm ready, and then I wait 5 minutes, and then Grocie does his introduction, but we jump straight into it, and then you tripped over your legs. You ran it into this too quick and weren't prepared for it.
Yeah, normally have at least 5 minutes of messing about before we start.
Yeah. At least out here just going, waiting for it to go.
Last time we spoke about my freedom of information request to the Royal Mint, and that's just reminded me of some of the freedom of information requests that I saw that other people had submitted to the Mint, but yeah, we'll save that for another video.
So your freedom of information request, just as a recap for those that haven't watched it all, you put in a freedom of information request asking to find out what the content of the Royal Mint long store was, in terms of the commemorative designs, how many are in there, because there's lots of coins like the 2021 Britannia, 2022 Britannia, which they've released information to say they've been minted, but we haven't started finding in circulation yet.
That's right.
That's information that Grocie and many of us want to find out, so he submitted a freedom of information request, and they basically came back and said we can't tell you that on security grounds, which you have appealed.
I have appealed firstly to them. So the way it works is you have to initially appeal sort of internally to the business or organisation, whatever it is that you're requesting the data from. To cut a long story short, they came back and said initially the exemption, so there's a couple of exemptions which means that organisations don't have to give out information, and one of the exemptions they gave was the prevention or detection of crime, in the sense that obviously, I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's a large amount of money. I can understand why they would use that as a kind of exemption.
They're putting a great big target on their forehead saying, this is how much money we've got.
Yeah,
right
but
here.
I
on
went
the
back to them.
On the other hand,
I went back to them and said, well, that's all fine, but on the Royal Mint tour, if anyone, I'm sure lots of you watching would have been on the Royal Mint tour, they give quite a lot of information actually about the long store. The fact that it's done by the Treasury, the fact that there's all those crates in there, they all hold about 85,000 coins. You can see it's the length of a football field, four sort of shelves high.
£90 million worth of coins in there.
And they hold about £90 million worth of coins. Not only that, and we'll come on to this in a second, because we have the mintage figures for, say, 2022 and 2021 Britannia £2, I've not seen anyone finding them, so you can only infer that they must be in the long store. So you kind of already know, you can sort of infer it, but you shouldn't then have an exemption, in my opinion anyway.
So you're saying that because they've released the mintage figures and we've not found the coins, that the coins must still be in the long store?
Either that or in a cash centre, or in multiple cash centres.
I was about to say, then what's the point in the freedom of information request if you know that they must still
be
there?
But it's also not just about that, it's also about older designs. For example, just out of interest, are there any Shakespeares left in there? Are there any Great 5 Londons? Are there any Kew Gardens that still haven't come out somehow?
Imagine that. There would be bedlam if all of a sudden these fresh new minty condition Kew Gardens started turning up.
I bet everyone would think they were fake.
If you get yourself a steel bag of that, and you need to be scraped off the floor, the ceiling.
You'd literally, you'd hit the roof.
You'd hit the roof, the floor, the walls, and they would just. You
would spontaneously combust. But so I submitted an appeal saying, look, it's quite a contradiction, it seems to me, to reveal the total amount of coins or the total amount of value in there, but not to then disclose not even just the quantities but actually just the designs that make that up. So I requested a review. To which they've replied, and they hadn't replied this time 2 weeks ago, and we said hopefully we'd have a reply, and we do. So again, to cut a very long
drum
story,
roll, please.
To cut a very long story short, they reply referencing the specific quantities of each coin design and denominations currently held in the long store. Having considered the request afresh, I uphold the original decision in this case not to release the withheld information to you. 2 reasons, he says. The first one is the same as before.
Mm-hmm.
However, he said, I do note your comments in respect of information you say has been disclosed during Royal Mint experience tours, and that's something that I will be looking into. So, there we go. And then they follow on, however, it is not just the generic overall value which is of interest here, it is also the specific breakdown of quantities of each coin denomination held, which might be of interest to criminals posing a threat to our site, etc.
Yeah, I guess if you were a criminal mastermind planning to rob the Royal Mint, and for some reason you're going to go for their circulated coin in the long store rather than, I don't know, all the gold that they've got there, maybe you would sit and wait until they had a more £2 coins, because you're going to be able to take out, if you're only going to be able to carry and move a certain quantity of coins, so you'd obviously try and pick the highest denominations. So a criminal mastermind would try and go there when there's a maximum amount of £2 coins there, rather than turning up there and it's all 1 and 2p and 5p coins. Yeah,
but having said that, we know already that they keep an emergency stock of every denomination. So again, I still don't see how that argument holds.
Well, I guess if they're thinking people are going to target the long store, like I said, they would keep requesting to find out how many £2 coins are there and wait till it spikes, and then that's the time they're going to attack.
Yeah. And they
although I would also argue that there's probably, if someone is going to try and rob from the Royal Mint, which again we're not encouraging, we think is a very bad idea, and I don't think you'd even be successful given the security there. I don't think circulated coins are going to be the best.
No, you'd be a fool. You'd be a fool of a criminal to try and steal circulating coins. What are you going to do? Run off with a few £100 worth of £2 coins?
How many bags of £2 coins do you think you could fit in your arms and still leg it from the security dog?
Maybe 4, 5, 6. So what's that?
Yeah,
3 grand?
Yeah.
What's the point? And they wouldn't even be in those like £500 bags. You're not just going to pick up one of those massive crates and just walk off with it, are you? And then also, they say, secondly, whilst I've considered this matter afresh, I believe there is a second exemption which is applicable here, namely section 43(2) of the Act, which is the commercial interests. They say the Royal Mint has entered into a long-term legal agreement with HM Treasury for the provision of UK circulating coin, UK coin contract. The coins in the long store have been manufactured by the Royal Mint pursuant to the UK coin contract and belongs to HM Treasury. The Royal Mint stores these coins in the long store until the coins are required for delivery to cash centres. As such, information in respect of the makeup of these coins, being HM Treasury stock, is confidential information for the purposes of the UK coin contract. The Royal Mint is not permitted to disclose this information. If it were to do so, it would find itself in breach of the UK coin contract, which would be to its detriment and likely to prejudice the commercial interests of the Royal Mint. And then they explain further about how they don't think that there's any public interest in it, which again I still disagree with, because it doesn't necessarily...
Grace is a member of the public and he's interested.
Well, yeah, I don't see how...
Well, I think we've discussed this though. What a public interest isn't... There are members of the public that are interested. There is a legally defined term of what a public interest is.
But again, for me, I disagree with the definition of public interest. I think that public interest...
You've got to say that with the legislators.
But it doesn't necessarily have to mean that there is an accusation of wrongdoing. It's just... we all pay taxes. We all pay for, in part, this UK coin contract that the Mint has. So, as far as I'm concerned, we all have a small share in the coins that are minted because we pay.
I must admit, I think I've thought that you're probably targeting the wrong people. The way that they've talked about the Royal Mint's long store, it's almost like an embassy. So the US embassy in London is US soil. The Royal Mint long store, the way they talk about having to get permission from the Treasury to go into there, I feel like they could just easily say, well, it's not actually ours, it comes under the...
So you think I'd be better off doing a request to the Treasury?
Yeah, it's their long store. It's just the Royal Mint that puts coins in. But as I said, whenever they go in there, I'm sure on previous tours they've said they need permission from the Treasury to go in there. It's in fact, like I said, it's like an embassy in a foreign country. It is that foreign country's soil because that's where their embassy is.
It'd be like contacting the US government in relation to the UK embassy in Washington.
Yeah,
I suppose.
So I think the Treasury are the people you want to speak to.
Yeah. They then continue to say, if you're not content with the outcome of the internal review, you have the right to apply directly to the ICO, the Information Commissioner, for a decision.
And what's the turnaround time for your appeal to them?
I don't know. However, my appeal to them is on the basis of, again, I don't see how they can so confidently release how much there is in total there. Also, in combination with that, the fact that you can sort of infer from mintage figures how many have been produced. So we know that it's not confidential because that's already been released, if you know what I mean. We know how many of those coins are.
You're going to mess this up for everyone, and the Royal Mint are never going to be allowed to release mintage figures ever again, and we're going to have no idea what coins are rare and which ones are common.
And then also, I said that the fact of the coins themselves being, like the actual designs being confidential, that doesn't apply either, because at the point in which they're in the long store, they've always kind of had their own release. They're all in the public domain already.
Okay.
Unless there is some secret £1 million coin that might be in there that we don't know about.
Yeah, who knows? That might be where they hide the Ark of the Covenant, and they can't tell you what the Ark of the Covenant's in there, Gracie.
So we shall see.
It's another reference you're not going to get because you haven't seen Indiana Jones.
Nope, didn't get the reference. And so yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Hopefully by next time we will have this reply from the ICO. Failing that, it might be worth a shout at doing it directly to the Treasury.
Possibly.
Although
I feel like you're shouting at a brick wall that's not going to change its mind, unfortunately.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
I think when you come back with your next update, it's going to be the same as this. Well, they said no again.
No, because the ICO will make a decision, and if the ICO order the Royal Mint to release the information, then they have to release the information, or they will get a huge, whopping, great big fine.
Oh, then they'll have to put the prices up for all the coins to scoot that money back. Oh, thanks, Gracie. Now we're not going to go no mintages. We're going to go on the Royal Mint tour where they say, and this is the shop. This is the coin press room. Don't look at that back wall. Oh, why not? Oh, it's just not there. What is behind that back wall is no one's business, and there's nothing there. It's all a lovely place. Don't ask questions. I was here last month. You said it was the long store. No. Zip. Nope. Don't know what you're talking about. La 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 la. You're going to single-handedly ruin coin collecting for us all, Gracie.
No, I don't think so. The only thing I would say is that when I applied initially for this information, they said, we confirm that we hold information falling within the scope of your request.
So they know. Oh, how annoying is that, Gracie? They know the answer to your question, but they're like...
But that wasn't my point. No. My point was the fact that they've said that this request falls within their sort of scope, if you like. It's not a case that, sorry, not us. You need to go and speak to the Treasury.
But again, it might not be a case of we know the answer, but you need to ask the Treasury. It might be the case of we'd much rather the Treasury volunteer this information than we volunteer it, and then we have the Treasury telling us off for volunteering this information. It might just be the typical sort of corporate cover your own backside.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. The ICO will make a decision, and that'll be that. So, yeah.
My goodness, well, we have talked for 15 minutes about your Freedom of Information Act. For those that are still awake, for those that are still watching, I feel like you need to give them a bonus.
I know. Yeah, and that's me. I don't have any further topics. Use my banknote tracker. That's been going very well. I see you haven't made any submissions yet.
I have a £5 in my wallet. I'm a busy person, Chris. I work full time. I do daily videos. I cook my own dinner, do my own laundry. I'm a busy person.
You don't cook your own dinner. You use HelloFresh.
Well, you still have to cook it. Anyway, this video is not sponsored by HelloFresh. I'm not talking about them. They're not paying me. So
that's free advertising. No, delete that bit. Cut that bit out.
Yeah, cut that bit out.
But if HelloFresh are watching, you know, I wouldn't say no.
You wouldn't say no.
Drop me an email. We can do something.
Yeah, don't worry. I will talk about your wonderful product at the end of a 15-minute conversation about freedom of information requests. Unless you have a bunch of sleepwalkers watching us, I don't think they're going to click your link, I'm afraid, Gracie.
Maybe it'd be better to do a sponsorship by some sort of pillow company.
or a sleeping app.
A sleeping app, yeah.
Yeah.
Before you watch this video, try the sleeping app and see whether you make it through the whole video of sleep.
Let's see what point you fell asleep and how long you were snoring for. And yeah. I think that is a sponsorship made for you, Gracie. We'll have to look into that.
My cheeks are hurting. I'm laughing so much. My whole face is hurting.
Oh, on your face. Well, that makes much more sense.
I know. That's why I corrected myself. Anyway, on that happy note, let's get back to the 5Ps and see, hopefully, all the territories and NIFCs that we managed to find. Right, so that is all the 5Ps that we managed to find. We got ourselves not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 territories. 4 from Jersey, one really nice one from Gibraltar. I've never seen that one before. 1990, which is kind of similar to the other monkey design, but it's got these weird sort of flowers next to it, so that's quite cool. The other coin we got was this 2014 one. It just looks a bit thicker, that's all it is. It's got sharp edges, it looks a bit thicker, who knows. But yeah, go and check out Christopher's part of the video as well. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.